self-proclaimed mood reader, meaning when I create a TBR, I rarely stick to it. And that's why I've never attempted to create a TBR jar before. However, I love watching TBR jar videos. So I thought today, for the month of March, I would attempt a TBR jar. And just to hold myself accountable, I'm planning on filming a reading vlog throughout the month of March to keep tabs on my progress with the TBR. Really, it's to hold myself accountable, but I think it might be interesting for other mood readers to see how it actually goes, I guess. So I got the cutest little mushroom jar here, and it is filled to the brim with prompts, so let's get into it. I typically read about 6 books a month, so I think that's what I'm gonna go for, although I have 2 book clubs I'm in, which I know will account for 2 of those books, but I'm just gonna pull 6 for the fun of it and shoot for the stars, you know what I mean? The goal here is to pick up more books for my physical TBR. It's no secret that it has gotten out of hand. I have stacks on stacks on stacks. Okay, here we go for real. I'm just gonna really make sure she's all mixed up. A middle grade book. Well, my camera is actually sitting on a stack of them. Honestly, might be what I want to pull from, but let me see what else I have first. Okay, exciting news. I'm already finding such good picks that I'm super excited about. We have 3 options here. The one that my camera was sitting on top of is the first book in the Sisters Grimm series, which I've been wanting to read for a while, but it is a series. Then we have Peter Pan, which this is a classic, but I believe it is middle grade. And we have Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I have really been wanting to pick this one up, and I just adore V.E. Schwab. Gallant follows a girl named Olivia who doesn't really know a lot about her past, except for this word she finds in a journal, which is gallant, the name of a haunted manor. So I believe she goes there to figure out her story, maybe what happened to her mother. Yeah, I mean, a haunted house story, what's not to like? And then these are both sort of fairy tale books. The Sisters Grimm is these 2 little girls, the main characters are related to the brothers Grimm, so they get sucked into fairy tales and there's a lot of mischief and adventures. I think I'm gonna choose Peter Pan, mainly because these other 2 feel like such fall books to me, and Peter Pan sort of has a spring vibe to it. I think this is gonna be such a good book for March. All right, let's see what's next. A book that is less than 200 pages. I'm getting off to a very easy start. Less than 200, actually. That's kind of really short. And we once again have 3 options. This prompt is super fun because none of these were on my radar, so that's exciting. First, we have The Black Swan, which is 141 pages. Then we have Candide, which is 113, and Summer Crossing, which is 138. I think I'm most interested in picking up Candide, and it is the shortest, so because this one, Summer's Crossing, I think I want to save it for summertime. The Black Swan, I think when I got this, I thought it was maybe what inspired the movie The Black Swan, and I'm thinking that is not the case, but I kind of don't entirely understand what this book is about, so I think I just need to do some more research on it before I read it, so I'm not going in huh? I've had Candide on my shelf for well over 5 years at this point. I don't really know much about it other than it's a satire by Voltaire, so I'm just gonna read the back for us so we're all on the same page. Candide is the story of a gentle man who, though pummeled and slapped in every direction by fate, clings desperately to the belief that he lives in the best of all possible worlds. On the surface, a witty, bantering tale, this 18th century classic is actually a savage, satiric thrust at the philosophical optimism that proclaims that all disasters and human suffering are part of a benevolent cosmic plan. Based off that description, it's kind of reminding me of Oscar Wilde. Maybe that's just because his books are one of my only point of reference for satire. So I don't know if that's really an accurate comparison, but I'll be thinking about it when I read this. Book number 3. A book that's based on a true story. Based on a true story. I wonder if I can take based on a true story to just be a true story. I know I have a couple memoirs, but I don't know if that really qualifies as the based on, but I feel like it maybe does. I'll just have to see what I even have. I think this one is The Journalist. I'm not really sure, actually. Ooh, actually, I think I know the perfect thing. All Quiet on the Western Front is a semi-autobiographical novel, which to me fits based on a true story better than a memoir, which is a true story. Maybe that's getting into semantics. I don't know. I mean, I wrote the prompt, I can kind of make it up. I've been wanting to read this one anyways, so I'm just gonna go with it. If you're not familiar, All Quiet on the Western Front is a World War I story. I have seen the movie before and it really touched me, which is why I have been wanting to pick up the book. I don't really know how to describe the plot more than that. It's a war novel and it's really devastating, and I think it sheds a light on like the reality of war. I'm just really excited to see if I like this as much as I liked the movie. And onward, I'm just gonna pick one kind of off the top. A book by a non-American author. Now this really is a challenge because I have no clue. I'm gonna have to do some Googling, so please excuse me a moment. I'm embarrassed to admit that that was kind of hard. I have a lot of American authors on my shelves, so good to know, I guess. Now I can try and diversify that a little bit more. I have a good number of British authors too. They were more so the like Charles Dickens, Virginia Woolf type vibe, which I do want to read, but I think the direction I'm going so far in my other books, that might not be the best option for me right now. But contrary to that, I did pick out Emma by Jane Austen. Now, this would be the smart choice because I have already started it. I really need to get it done, so maybe. But I also picked out Slade House by David Mitchell. I did not know he was British. I was just picking up books I was interested in and Googling whether or not they were American. I've had this book for nearly a decade. Actually kind of criminal that I haven't picked this up. I was like refreshing myself on what it's about and it sounds so good. Keep your eyes peeled for a small black iron door. Down the road from a working class pub, along a narrow brick alley, you just might find the entrance to Slade House. A stranger will greet you by name and invite you inside. At first, you won't want to leave. Later, you'll find that you can't. Every 9 years, the residents of Slade House extend an invitation to someone who's different or lonely. A precocious teenager, a recently divorced policeman, a shy college student. But what really goes on inside, for those who find out, it's already too late. Spanning decades, leaping genres, and barreling toward an astonishing conclusion, Slade House is a haunted house story as only David Mitchell could imagine it. That sounds too good. And the last one I have is The Chestnut Man by Soren Sveistrup, maybe? Now, this is a horror novel I've been wanting to read for a long time, but the problem is it's really thick. And I'm already intimidated by the growing stack, so I think it's gonna stress me out too much. And I think I might prefer reading this in the fall anyways because it's a horror movie, not a movie, a horror book about a serial killer who leaves these like dolls out of matchsticks and chestnuts. It's kind of giving like Blair Witch a little bit. And I'm rolling this one out. It's not my vibe right now. Oh, but he is a Dutch author. So it's down to these two. The responsible option, the fun option. I mean, I started Emma last spring and I was like, this is such a spring book. And then it took too long and I put it down, but we're back around to spring. So maybe I could get the fire going again. And I already have a start on it, so that would help me manage the TBR pile. I think I'm gonna be responsible and continue on with Emma. But good to know that Slade House is on my shelf and I will be thinking about her. I want one that has to do with like the cover. And I literally spoke that into existence because next is a book you bought based off the cover. Ooh, okay, hold on. I'm very attracted to bright covers. I think both of these are stunning and I definitely bought them because of the covers. First we have Interior Chinatown, which to my knowledge, this one is about a Chinese man living in Chinatown. I believe he's trying to break into the film industry and he sees himself as stuck in like the background character role. But it says he has dreams to become the kung fu guy, which is the most respected role that anyone who looks like him can attain. So I think it has a lot of commentary on race and Hollywood, the film industry. It's set up in a very interesting way. It sort of looks like a screenplay. And that's all I really know about it. It says it's playful but heartfelt. Then this one is Radical Intimacy by Sophie K. Rosa. This is a nonfiction book which explores intimacy. It's about how the capitalist system shapes our intimate lives. There's topics of self-care, romance, sex, family, home, death, which is a topic I'm really interested in. I do think this is gonna be a really good one, but I think after looking at them both, I am leaning towards Interior Chinatown, which to be honest is most fitting for the prompt because I think this is one of my favorite book covers of all time. Yeah, I think this is a fun one to add to the mix. All right, and we've made it to our very last prompt. Use a random word generator to find your next title. Ooh, how fun. Ooh, how fun. I think this is self-explanatory, but I'm gonna use the word generator to find one word that has to be in the title, but it doesn't have to be the full title, right? That makes sense. Generate random word. Fan. Okay, I can do that, I think. Fan. One is coming to mind immediately, but I don't have a copy of it. But maybe that's okay because I don't have any audiobooks in the mix right now, so I could get it as an audiobook. But I'm just gonna look through my shelves one last time to make sure I don't have another book that has fan in the title. Okay, as predicted, I do not have a book on my shelves with fan in the title, but the one that immediately came to mind is I'm a Fan. This is a book about a young woman who is obsessed with a famous figure. I think it explores celebrity culture and obsession in a dark humor sort of way. I don't know much more than that, but it has been on my TBR for a while. Yes, it's not on my physical TBR, but I do have 5 other options off my physical TBR, so I feel like that's a pretty good ratio. And I'm a big audiobook listener, so this will be good for me. And there we have it. Those are my picks for my first ever TBR jar. I am nervous about sticking to it, but if nothing else, I love random chance and challenges. So let's recap what I'll be reading in March. First prompt was a middle grade book and I chose Peter Pan. Then for a book under 200 pages, I'm going with Candide by Voltaire. For a book based on a true story, I'm going with All Quiet on the Western Front. A book by a non-American author will be Emma by Jane Austen. A book I bought based off the cover, Interior Chinatown. And last but not least, for the random word generator, I will be reading I'm a Fan. Thanks so much for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoy watching other TBR jar videos. I really need you guys to keep me motivated to read through this stack. Please hype me up in the comments and get excited for that reading vlog because I'll be really interested to see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. If you need something else to watch in the meantime while I am creating this vlog, then you should check out the last time I did a reading challenge that required I stuck to a TBR, and that would be when I blindly picked books from the library to read. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.